All right, we're back here. Phone lines now open, 737-7767. Want to get your thoughts, talking a bunch of different Titans topics tonight. Let's go back to the phones. And David. David, what's up?
Yes, I want to talk about the NFL. Then I'll talk about the Titans.
Okay.
Problem is in the NFL is too many people want to be quarterback in the NFL. They can be quarterback, but really, they are not supposed to be starting quarterbacks. This, and the reason for this is they leave college early, plus they were not prepared when they were in college, playing the type of quarterback you need to play in the NFL. They are playing college quarterback. Then let me talk about the Titans. If the Titans had two other Titans like Walker, two other receivers like Beckham, they would have made the playoffs this year. Regardless, even with the defense playing the way they played. Problem is, Mariota doesn't have the people who can separate themselves quickly for him to deliver the ball. And simply having even two rookies like Beckham.
Yeah, no question about it, David. I think you hit on something there. There's just not enough talent around Marcus Mariota, no matter what you think about him. His wide receivers aren't doing the job. He's got no running game. His only weapon is Delanie Walker, which is, again, why I think it's a farce. That's Mike Mularkey's word, actually. But a crime that Delanie Walker isn't a Pro Bowler, because everyone has been able to mark him, key on him, game plan for him, and he still leads the NFL tight ends in receiving right now. That, to me, shows you how good Delanie Walker is, because nothing else out there is good enough. The Titans just simply are not good enough around Mariota and Walker to compete offensively right now. But the other point you brought up there, David, and I think it's a really good one, is as you look at the NFL right now, there are not a lot of very good quarterbacks. And I think you can take it a step further and say that there aren't very good offensive lines around the NFL. You look at the New York Giants. When they won those two Super Bowls in short span there, they had virtually the same offensive line for both of them. It was a long-standing unit where all those guys had significant experience, not just in the league, but with each other. That was a great offensive line. Great tandem. Since those guys have started to retire and move away, the Giants haven't been nearly as good. Eli Manning hasn't been nearly as effective. And now they're in danger of missing the playoffs again. You can point to some other teams, the Patriots, the Packers. Those teams have had long-standing offensive lines. They've been really good. The Seahawks, the last couple years, had great offensive lines. This offseason, they let those guys kind of trickle away to sign big deals. They didn't think they were part of the core that they had to keep. Well, what was Seattle's struggle early in the year? They had the 32nd rated offensive line in the National Football League. It is very difficult to replace guys, replace experience and good offensive linemen right now in the NFL. And I think the big reason for both offensive linemen and quarterbacks is as you look down at the college level, and even the high school level now, you're looking at a lot of simple, hurry-up offenses where you're not reading, you're not doing the same corrections at the line that you have to do in the National Football League because the game is so complex. You hear the stories about Baylor and that offense, as prolific as it is in college, they don't even have a playbook. Think about that for a second. One of the best offenses in college football does not have a playbook. It's that simple. They run a few concepts, they call them, and guys go. And what they have is they have a good quarterback, a good running back, and a bunch of wide receivers who can make plays. And that's good enough at the college level. In the NFL, though, everybody's athletic. Everybody can make plays, and so it becomes much more of a scheme game. But when you have linemen who've never been in the scheme game, and they've always been in the shotgun and zone blocking on run schemes and pass blocking for a shotgun quarterback at the college level, and now all of a sudden you're asking them immediately to move into the NFL and block downhill on run plays and protect in long play action routes and things like that, you develop some issues. And it's hard for quarterbacks to develop when they're getting killed by their offensive line. So it's kind of a vicious cycle, and I know there are people in the NFL concerned about the lack of sophistication amongst the offenses in college football and even in high school today, that quarterbacks and offensive linemen aren't getting the training they need to come in and be prepared right away to play in the NFL. Back to the phones now, and Doug. Doug, hey, how are you?
Hi, Steve. How you?
I'm doing well.
In our local paper yesterday, NFL, CBS Sports NFL Insider tells about Peyton Manning and Bill Polian, a possible reunion in Tennessee. Have you heard anything about that?
Well, I've certainly heard the report from Jason Lackenfora, and I think for people who've paid attention, you probably know that Jason Lackenfora has thrown out several rumors over the last few years, really, about the future of the Titans. He talked about how the team was definitely for sale a year ago. He's thrown out things about Peyton Manning, I think first initially coming to play quarterback and other things. So to some degree, it seems as if he's trying to just report on things and see what eventually sticks against the wall. So I caution you in jumping fully on board with that report, but I will tell you this, Doug. I think there is definitely a sentiment within the Titans organization that they would love to see Peyton Manning at some point be a part of what they're doing here in Tennessee. In the front office, as a part owner, whatever the role would be, I think they would welcome that because he's such a beloved son here in the state that I think he'd be a draw for them. Even if he's not number 18 on the field, I think he'd be a draw for them in a luxury box. And that's something that they need. They need that relevance. The part about bringing in Bill Polian and his son, I think that makes sense if Peyton's going to potentially jump straight up to the box or upstairs to administration literally the moment he walks off the field and hangs up his cleats. That's, to me, where this gets tricky, though, because think about it. Peyton Manning has played for nearly 20 years in the NFL. You count his college days, it's over 20 years of being a high-profile quarterback taking snaps virtually every day of the season. Do we really think he's going to walk right off the field in that final game this year or playoffs or whatever it is going to be and just decide, you know what, that's it, I'm done. And you know what I really can't wait to do? It's not take a vacation or not see my family more than I've seen them in the last several years. It's jump right into an NFL front office this offseason and start getting down to work on college players and grading the Senior Bowl and drafting and setting up a team for next year. I just cannot wait to do that. That's my thing. There's no doubt in my mind when Peyton Manning is ready, whatever he wants to do, if it's broadcasting, if it's being a front office guy, if it's being a minority owner somewhere, he will have that opportunity in the NFL because he is that respected and people love him. It's just hard for me to fathom that a guy as competitive as he is and who has put everything into his career for so long is literally just going to hang up the jersey in a month or whenever it is at the end of the Broncos season and decide, I'm not just done playing, but I am absolutely positive right now this second that I'm heading into a front office job next year. Don't want a break, don't want a vacation. That's what I want right now. Just doesn't seem likely. Go to the Bahamas. Go to Cabo for a while. Just hang out. Enjoy your money. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the success of what is a Hall of Fame career. And then when you get bored, come back. I think that's the route for Peyton Manning. I think he's going to be great at whatever he does eventually. It's just hard for me to believe that scenario plays out in a month or 2 months from now. Time for our final break. We'll be back after this.